Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 165 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
And if I sound a little sultry, it is because I currently have pneumonia.
Yes. I'm actually impressed at how normal your voice sounds right now.
Yeah, it's
compared to what it's been the past week.
Yeah,
Christine has been a mess.
Yeah, I've been down for the count with like fever. And
oh gosh,
it's terrible, terrible coughing. I swear, I cracked a rib or pulled a muscle. I don't know what. It's painful.
Yeah,
very painful,
and no appetite and
none.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's all right. I'm living off my fat stores.
Well, you know. There's something to be said for that. Not on a regular basis, mind you. But.
Yeah, but I'm glad we're back. You know, I'm looking forward to us. We always take a little break around the holiday time, and I think my body is just trying to tell me, yeah,
it's time for that little bit of a break.
You need a little bit of a break. But anywho, here is what is coming up in today's show. In our noteworthy segment, we're going to tell you a little bit about how Trump caters to big agriculture.
Not like this is a big surprise or anything.
Yeah, surprise.
In our main topic, we're talking about the Judas sheep. What is the Judas sheep, and how does it relate to what's happening in our country today?
But before we get into all that, we wanted to let you know that we will be at the Spirit and Abundance Vegan Holiday Market, Saturdays, December 7th, from 11 to 4 at Spirit and Abundance, which is at 95 Mount Read Boulevard, door 14 in Rochester, New York.
So super excited.
That should be a fun time. It's Allie, who runs Spirit and Abundance Vegan Cheesery. Mm-hmm. This is her first time holding a market.
So cool.
So I'm hoping that it's highly successful for her.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
so we will be there.
We will be, and we hope to see some of you there also.
Indeed.
And number 2, we want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, which is coming up this week.
Sure is.
Please make it a compassionate one, because there's so many of those great holiday roasts on the market now.
There sure are.
Like every company makes a different kind of holiday roast now.
Yeah, not knowing how Christine was going to be feeling this week, I ran out to do some pre-Thanksgiving grocery shopping yesterday. And, Christine said, well, get the Gardein roast, or if you decide not to go to Wegmans, get the Trader Joe's version, because I knew I was going to Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
And I did indeed get the Trader Joe's version, which I'm not sure we've ever had.
We haven't, but I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's very similar to the Gardein roast. So.
Awesome. So chances are we're going to enjoy that very much.
Yeah. And don't forget that almost all of your typical Thanksgiving side dishes are easily veganizable.
Absolutely.
Is that a word?
Absolutely. If you put dairy in your mashed potatoes, substitute almond milk and vegan butter.
Yep.
Or soy milk and vegan butter.
Whatever, plant milk and
whatever
plant
plant
butter.
milk and plant butter.
Yeah.
When it comes to stuffing, just if you feel the need for sausage, use a vegan sausage instead of a pork sausage or a beef sausage.
Yep. Use vegetable broth instead of
chicken broth.
Chicken broth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even standards like, I keep thinking of Trey's green bean casserole.
Yeah.
Very, very easily veganized.
Yeah, he veganizes that. Yep. And it's really good. And of course, there's just, vegetables. And
we love some vegetables.
Those are always vegan.
Yes. Christine will be making her famous roasted Brussels sprouts, which I am very excited about.
Yeah. Sam brought home practically megaton of Brussels sprouts. So we should be good for Brussels
I wasn't sure how many Brussels sprouts we would need.
How many I do every year.
It's 8 pounds of Brussels sprouts.
It's a lot of Brussels sprouts.
Because Trader Joe's had them in 2-pound bags. And I was like, okay, well, since Trader Joe's is crazy, I've decided I'm not going to Wegmans because I don't want 2 crazy grocery experiences in one day.
It was pretty funny because Sam is like, I'm going off on this fun pre-holiday excursion. She totally forgot it was the weekend before Thanksgiving.
I don't really think that I did. I just had it in my head that going out on a Sunday morning would likely be chill.
It was not chill.
It was not chill.
There was no chill involved.
And I only had 2 stops on this trip.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to Trader Joe's, and I knew I had to go to Michael's because I've had a few special orders for crafted items. I had to get some specific yarn for those projects. And fortunately, up on Niagara Falls Boulevard, there's a Trader Joe's and a Michael's in the same parking lot.
Right.
So it's super convenient for those kinds of errands. And the minute I walked into Michael's, I was just like, oh my, this is crazy.
It was
there were
holiday.
So many people, and
Yeah.
the parking lot was packed, which it usually isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in good use usually, but it was just like, it was hard to find a parking space.
Wow.
So I just could not believe how crazy busy it was. So I get home and I'm like, okay, so Sunday morning, the weekend before Thanksgiving, is not the time to go shopping.
It's not a chill shopping experience.
No. And Christine's like, you probably should have waited for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you'd waited and gone on a Monday morning, it probably would have been
Probably would have been better.
a world of difference.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that when you do gather with friends and family, if you are gathering with friends and family, that you remember to honor the indigenous people of this country,
Indeed.
because we will be celebrating upon their land.
We certainly will be.
With that said, we do not have a recipe this week because pneumonia.
Because pneumonia.
And we'll just move right into our noteworthy section. And our noteworthy section, like we were saying at the top of the show, is a little blurb about how Trump aided big agriculture in exchange for corporate donations.
Mount Air Farms is the fourth largest producer of chicken in the United States, with headquarters in Millsboro, Delaware. The company operates internationally, serving the United States and foreign markets as far away as Asia. Mount Air Farms has facilities in the states of Arkansas, Delaware, Maryland, North Carolina, and Virginia. The company has about 7,000 employees and plays a major part in the economy of Delaware. Trump's ascendance in 2016 came with a massive surge in corporate welfare to factory farms. The biggest payoff for Big Ag happened when COVID-19 hit. Slaughterhouses were hotspots for the spread of disease. One study found that 8% of COVID-19 cases nationwide came from slaughterhouses. But Trump ordered the slaughterhouses to stay open as critical and strategic for national security. He admitted later that the real reason for the order wasn't national security, but the industry's liability problems. Sick workers were suing slaughterhouses for forcing them to work in dangerous conditions, but Trump's orders immunized the companies from liability. And one of these companies was Mount Air. On April 3rd, 2020, shortly after the pandemic broke, the company announced that numerous employees were sick with COVID-19 and at least one employee was hospitalized. Just days later, Trump issued the order requiring slaughterhouses to stay open and got rid of liability problems. Mount Air rewarded Trump and his party with a series of large donations that summer.
Yeah, no surprise there.
No, none at all.
No surprise there. We don't want to become a political podcast
No.
in this second term of Donald Trump. But we do need to be aware of the policies, mostly of the policies that he's stripping away.
Yes.
And laws that he's stripping away.
Yes.
Because that happened in his first term.
Mm-hmm.
And he's vowed now, he's just blatantly telling you
Yes.
what he's going to remove, all of these, EPA controls and a number of other things that are going to be controlling how companies can poison our air and water and food supplies. So
back in the first term, like there was at least kind of the facade of doing things under the radar.
Yeah.
That's not going to exist this time.
Nope, it's gone.
Going to be very upfront, very in your face about rights and protections being stripped away in all kinds of industries. Things are going to be deregulated like absolute crazy. And if you think that that's not going to have an impact on your daily life, you're probably wrong. What that will manifest as, I mean, it could be anything from lower quality food to higher food prices. Certainly the tariffs are going to be a problem in many industries. So the price of consumer goods is going to go up. There's no question about that. But also the idea of deregulation of these industries, and that would include animal agriculture.
yeah, in a big way.
Yes, would mean far fewer consumer protections when it comes to any farmed animal products.
Yeah.
Which is just terrifying.
Yeah. But like I was saying, we don't want this to become a political podcast.
No, that's not our MO.
But we also don't want to ignore what's going on, especially when it pertains to animal agriculture.
That's right. It would be irresponsible to ignore what's going on. So
I think so too.
We're going to do our best in the weeks to come, weeks, months, and years to come to keep things, as vegan forward as possible.
Yeah.
But we also do want to make sure that, all of our friends out there are aware of what's happening in the world.
Yeah. And, we do also occasionally want to just give you a break from what's happening in the world.
So true. So you can count on a good amount of, am I the asshat?
Yeah.
In future.
At least once a month, we're going to be putting in some sort of just let's escape reality kind of situation.
Or at least dive into somebody else's reality.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess it's time for us to move on to our main topic. The Judas sheep. Now, Sam's never heard of the Judas sheep.
I have not.
I have heard of the Judas sheep. And I can tell you what the Judas sheep is, and it's pretty abominable. The Judas sheep is a young sheep that is hired to live out its days at slaughterhouses to give incoming animals a false sense of security. So this animal greets the frightened, terrified animals coming off of trucks as they're coming in to be slaughtered. This animal greets them and kind of gives them a false sense of security before they meet their doom. So Wayne Sung wrote this really interesting blog where he uses the Judas sheep as kind of a metaphor for what's happening in American politics. So I thought we would take a look at that. We don't have to read the whole thing or anything, but
I do love Wayne's writing though, so
yeah.
I'm gonna jump in and you can stop me when you want to.
Yeah, so this comes from his Simple Heart blog, and as usual, we will leave a link to the blog if you want to read it for yourself at home.
The worst form of betrayal is by those we've sought out to protect us. That is why the so-called Judas sheep are an ethical monstrosity. The Judas sheep are the rare animals at the slaughterhouse who are not marked for death. Instead, they are trained, through chin scratches and treats such as cigarettes, to betray the other sheep. When little lambs are trucked into the slaughterhouse, they are terrified after being torn from their families. They are desperate for the protection of an adult. The confident Judas sheep walk up to the lambs and earn their trust. Do not fear, little ones, they say. Come with us. You are safe. The babies follow. And the Judas sheep lead them straight down the chute where their throats will be slit. DXE's recent investigation at Superior Farms in Denver shows how it unfolds. There's a video embedded in this article, by the way, which I'm very sure I do not need to watch.
Yeah, you might not want to watch that.
But still. The concept of the Judas sheep, however, has implications beyond the walls of Superior Farms. Like the lambs taken to slaughter, Americans are being taken by our political leaders down the path to self-destruction. Take climate change. We just experienced the hottest summer in recorded history and deadly extreme weather events such as Hurricane Helene. Yet both major political parties in the United States have effectively ignored the climate crisis. Instead, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris fight with one another for the mantle of the most pro-fracking, notwithstanding public opposition to the practice. Our leaders say they are fighting for the people. Then they watch as the people drown. At a local level, the Denver Democratic Party has used every dirty trick to block a grassroots initiative from banning slaughter in the city at the behest of the agribusiness lobby. When the party presents its position to the public, it claims to be against the slaughter ban because of the racism of the activists, whom they say are targeting workers of color. Conveniently ignored is the fact that slaughterhouses have been described by the Bureau of Labor Statistics as the most dangerous workplaces in America, and ones where illegal child labor is common. The voters have no idea that they are being falsely led to support slaughter. These are just two examples, however, of our political leaders taking us down a self-destructive path. From housing to food safety, politicians talk about how much they care about the people. Yet when you look at what they do, they too often serve only the powerful. They are the Judas sheep of America. So what can be done? The first answer is awareness. Too often, well-meaning Americans have allegiance to one party or the other, often under the belief that their preferred politicians are the lesser evil. This belief is misplaced. Under both political parties, financial and political power have become concentrated in the hands of a tiny number of Americans. The result is a society that is experiencing record levels of inequality. Bernie Sanders pointed out in 2017 that the 3 richest Americans held more wealth than the entire bottom 50% of the nation, which is around 170 million people. That is a level of inequality that has probably never existed in human history. Even the pharaohs of ancient Egypt did not have more wealth than 170 million people. And the problem is more than 3 billionaires. While we have seen tremendous economic growth in the last 40 years, data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that only the ultra-wealthy, the top 5% of Americans with a very high wage, have significantly shared in this prosperity. Data like this should alarm anyone concerned about democracy. It suggests that for many decades, our system has falsely claimed to represent the people while actually representing only the powerful. Populists, such as Trump, who seek to burn the system down, are the natural result of this betrayal. But then doesn't the answer lie in better democracy? Suppose we ended corporate contributions to elections, banned lobbying, or made other reforms to the democratic process. Wouldn't the problem of the Judas sheep be solved? The answer is no. The problem goes deeper than specific democratic structures. After all, economist Thomas Piketty has demonstrated similar dramatic increases in inequality in nations with very different and better democratic structures. Piketty's own country, France, bans corporate donations in elections, yet has still seen dramatic increases in wealth inequality. The problem is that no matter what democratic structures we have, if we exclude the powerless from consideration, those structures will be used to enact injustice. We take it for granted that even the best democracy in the world will fail if marginalized humans, the working class, people of color, women, etc., are excluded from consideration. The system inevitably collapses on the weight of its own hypocrisy, a process that I have described as the law of social entropy. The same is true for other marginalized sentient beings, including animals and perhaps eventually sentient AI robots. A system that claims to protect everyone will be seen for what it is, a betrayal, unless it considers the interests of everyone who has interests, even those who have no power. And that question of who to include for consideration is ultimately a question of values and not structure. In the slaughterhouse at Superior Farms, the interests of the lambs are excluded from consideration. The result is an ethical monstrosity, the betrayal of innocent lambs who are tricked into walking into their own demise. In the city of Denver, the interests of the people and the animals are excluded. Only the powerful agribusiness lobby matters. The result is another ethical monstrosity, a betrayal of the Democratic Party's supposed values under the guise of fighting racism. And in nations across the globe, the interests of most of the sentient beings on this earth are excluded from consideration. The result is, once again, an ethical monstrosity. 10,000 years ago, When we first domesticated dogs, chickens, and pigs, we promised to protect them from suffering. Instead, we have created a system that, in the scale and severity of violence, is the worst betrayal in the planet's history. Take this one simple fact. We promised the animals humane care. Yet even the industry's own numbers show that billions of animals in slaughterhouses are improperly stunned and therefore eviscerated or scalded alive on the slaughter line. Imagine this happening to your dog. Now imagine it being repeated billions of times in an endless loop of horror. This is the nightmare that we have been taken to by our leaders. Solving this problem can only come from a transformation in human values. We must see, and push our friends and neighbors to see, that by ignoring the interests of those who are most vulnerable, our leaders are leading us down the path to self-destruction. At the time of writing, I don't know if Trump or Harris will win. And in truth, I mostly don't care. What we need is a new class of leaders who represent the interests of all sentient beings, even those who are powerless. Only then will our 10,000-year-old betrayal end and the future for all life on this earth be secured.
Thank you, Wayne, for another amazingly well-written piece of information.
Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Pookie, for letting me read Wayne's stuff because I love his stuff.
I know you do.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so true, so clear-sighted, so just, I don't know, honest.
Yeah, his writing is really honest and very succinct
but poetic at the same time.
Yeah, it's intelligent and
so beautiful.
filled with facts and figures and useful information, and yet very creatively written.
Yes.
So
gorgeous.
Yeah, so poetic on top of everything else.
Yep.
So thank you again, Wayne. And like I said, we will drop a link to the Simple Heart blog post that Sam just read if you want to read it for yourself, or click on the videos that were included if you dare.
If you dare.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't necessarily recommend
I wouldn't either.
The videos.
It's slaughterhouse footage, so
yeah.
Vegans are not the people that need to see that.
No, not at all.
Know? I mean, unless you need a reminder every now and again as to why you're vegan. I mean, I don't recommend that people subject
reminder
themselves.
Necessary. I'm good.
Yeah. So let's move on to our assignment restaurant SOS.
This week, we're shouting out Angel Hearts Diner. This week, one of our favorite listeners, Quillen, wanted us to shout out Angel Hearts Diner. Located at 401 East State Street, Suite G2 in Ithaca, New York, they are open again after an extensive remodel in their building. Now, we tried Angel Hearts back in 2020 during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. They were doing only takeout at that time, but oh my gosh, did we have a great breakfast.
We did. We enjoyed a fabulous breakfast sitting in their parking lot in the car.
Yes. It was wonderful.
It was really good.
It really, really was.
Yeah.
And, as we're eating this, we're just like, we have to come back
when
they're open again.
Yeah. But as I'm waiting for the order to be prepared, I'm like peering through the windows. It's so cute inside. I'm like, oh, I really wish we could go in there. But
yeah, we will make our way to Ithaca soon. Now, especially after an extensive remodel, this is exciting.
Yeah.
But they're wonderful. They have a cool retro diner aesthetic, and we really look forward to checking them out again really, really soon.
Yeah.
Looking at their menu, which you can find at angelheartsdiner.com.
You want to look at their menu?
Well, of course. Isn't that your favorite part?
It is. It is. And even though I don't have much of an appetite, I don't mind looking at vegan diner food.
Never. See, now we did breakfast when we were there, and if I remember correctly, I had the classic, which is a breakfast sandwich
on a biscuit.
I'm pretty sure it was on a biscuit.
Yeah.
Yes. So the classic is a just egg patty, some BioLife cheddar, and Thrilling Foods bacon on a buttered biscuit.
Yeah.
And I think you had the breakfast burrito.
I did. It was really good.
Yes. So their breakfast burrito is tofu scramble, peppers, onions, mushrooms, home fries, cheddar, and a chipotle aioli, of course, in a tortilla. And yeah, just absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, and you can get all their breakfast sandwiches either on their biscuits, which were really good, or on an unglazed donut.
You know, it's never occurred to me to put a breakfast sandwich on a donut.
Yeah.
You know, biscuit makes sense. Bagel is kind of the go-to.
Right.
But I've never considered donut.
Why not?
I don't know. I really don't know. But then, of course, they do all kinds of other sandwiches and salads. They've got a Philly. They've got a beet burger. It's called the Beats Me burger, which I love. That's a handmade beet burger patty served on a Kaiser bun with cashew cheese sauce, lettuce, tomato, and roasted garlic aioli. That sounds pretty awesome. They also have a beet burger salad. Then they've got sides and drinks and shakes and smoothies and fries, all kinds of beautiful things. And of course, they've got, as any diner should, mozzarella sticks and buffalo bites.
Yeah, they have all of the, usual diner fare. They have soft serve, which is great. So, yeah, if you are in Ithaca, do not miss out on Angel Heart's Diner.
Yep, and we're going to do our best to get back there super, super soon.
Yeah. Because we want them to stick around.
Yeah,
They've been around for quite a while, and we want it to stay that way. It is now time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout-out time.
It's listener shout-out.
Just want to give a shout-out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
Oh my God, we have a shout-out. This week's listener shout-out goes to David Bennis. David has been a regular listener and supporter of the show. He recently reached out to us to suggest that we add an upcoming events section. And we will be adding that into the lineup this spring.
Yeah, when there's more events going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Around us. Yeah.
Outside of the Spirit and Abundance market, we're pretty much wrapping up the year.
We're wrapping our year up.
For events.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that we might be doing some more local stuff, or at least Cucumber Craftworks will be doing some more local stuff.
Yeah, but I think what David wanted us to do was just list the vegan-friendly events. It doesn't necessarily have to be where we are.
Oh, yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
There's far more than what we have going on.
Yeah, so I do want to incorporate that into a segment of the show. I think it would be some useful information. And
I
it
love
doesn't
that.
necessarily have to be Buffalo area stuff either.
No.
We can pick stuff from, all over the country.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good time.
Yeah, thanks for that suggestion, David.
Yeah,
much appreciated.
Thanks for listening, David, and send us your t-shirt size and address so we can send you a Compassion and Cucumber swag bag. You can send us that information by texting us using the link in our show notes. Don't forget to include your name. Or email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Facebook or Instagram.
And for the rest of you out there, if you want a listener shout out, please text, email, or DM Christine. Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can also nominate someone else for a shout out. And with the holiday season approaching, that could be a really fun thing to do.
It could be a fun thing. And here's some more exciting news.
Yes.
Next week, we will be announcing the winner of our Mies and Chef Knife giveaway.
That is super exciting.
On the show.
I'm psyched for that.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it.
That'll be a good time. Mm-hmm. So if you've been shouted out on the show, be sure to listen to episode 166, where we will reveal the name of the lucky listener that's going to get themselves a brand new Mies and Chef Knife.
Woohoo!
So it's time to wrap this baby up. But before we go, don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. And don't forget you can subscribe to our YouTube and leave us a rating and a review if you'd like, because that helps us reach more great people like you.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 165 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion on the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We do. Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.